Hello and welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP
and Stacy D.
I'm JP Craddock, and that is the one and only Stacy D Love. We are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
and Wisdom.
Coming up on the show, our question of the day today is cheating just about sex, or is there more to it? What are the 6 types of cheaters and reasons for cheating? This, D, is follow-up to last week's question of the day, which was about whether or not you should tell your significant other that you have cheated on them based upon whether or not they can handle the information or not. We talked about who, between the sexes, who handles it better, who does not. And so this is the perfect time for us to cover the different types of cheaters.
That'd be good.
All right. Now, so we have that coming up after our check-in and after mental health and illness in the news. But the D had a question. What was your question as we was trying to open up this show, Stacy D?
What is
That's juice.
What type of juice? Can you let everybody see it, please?
It doesn't have vodka in it.
That is his drink of choice.
So what difference does it?
Let me see.
That's
Ooh,
just.
you are in black and white. Let's put it on my side. It's color.
You can't see it on my side. Mr. Walker's having a technical difficulty.
So what type of juice is it?
On your side, wait, hold on. On my side, it looks like vodka. Let's put it on your side.
It looks like
Jack Daniels.
It looks like Jack Daniels. Is that what they call it, Jack Daniels?
It looks like just juice.
Oh, my daughter calls it Jackie Daniels.
That's my I got my water intake, but I can't drink. I don't like straight. For those of you who struggle to just drink water plain because of the disgusting taste of it, just a little bit of a water packet, or sometimes I'll pour a little bit of Sprite or something. No, lemon's not.
The lemon and lime tart. Is not enough for you?
A little bit of, I can drink the lemon water, but just a little bit of something and then water it down. Most people think it's disgusting because it's like, that's watered down pop. But all I need is this much pop, and then I can drink a whole thing of water.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm very happy that my brother is drinking more water.
I'm drinking more water. We talked about that.
Yeah, we have to for, the older you get, for our complexions and just to be more healthier. That's it. So,
Right. Okay, what's your check-in, D? Anything exciting? I'm sorry. Anything exciting going on in the world of Stacy D?
Nothing.
You know it's something. Listen, it's something. She doesn't want to talk about it. D, there's nothing exciting going on.
Just living the life of Stacy D. That's my brand. Stacey.
All right. Okay.
Stacey.
Well, we can go to my check-in.
They'll check it. And
it's going to be brief. I had an interesting little encounter. You go up 71.
Oh, just was on it.
They have a lot of accidents on 71. And so Nadine, she hates 71. Well, I'm driving down 71, minding my own business, and I actually got challenged to a little bit of a drag race.
Did you win?
Which has not. Did I win, D?
Back in the day when you had the Trans Am, you might have would have won.
I'm too old for drag races. That'd be like you dropping it like it's hot again.
Hold up!
Yo, drop it like it's hot. Oh, Lord. Sit her down. That's not a challenge. D, we do not want to have to call an ambulance up into this radio station because you think you can still drop it like it's Hold on. The D is your drop it days. We will have to call somebody in here. Now, let me tell about the drag race. I'm driving. Here's the problem. One, I had a baby in a car seat in the back.
So, but you're in the Benz or the other car?
I was. We're not supposed to say what the cars are.
Were you in your car or your crossover? Which one were you in?
I was in the Benz. Okay.
So yeah, you could have won. You could have won.
Oh yeah. He didn't want none of that turbo engine.
I know.
He didn't want none of
I
that.
be feeling the XLR. I revs it up like.
Well, here's what my thoughts were is that this fool obviously does not know what gas prices are. Who's drag racing with the current gas prices?
It doesn't matter. The Victory. Just go to Costco's. You can get it for $3.77.
No, I had the baby in the car.
Oh, okay.
And I'm too old to drag race, and I was in economy mode, which
this is the green mode.
that is of the 4 transmission modes. Economy is when gas prices are ridiculously stupid and you need to save money. I was driving in economy mode. He didn't want me coming up out of that. He didn't want none of that.
He didn't want it.
He didn't want that turbo.
Want it.
I was in economy and automatic transmission mode. So, but I thought that
Because you can't switch yours into a stick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can switch mine to a stick.
Yeah, but nobody's doing that. The gas prices are too high.
If you had to challenge me, I would have gave it to you.
Well, somebody gonna end up challenging you to drop it like it's hot because you act like you can still do it.
Because I can. Now, it might take me a little bit more time to bounce it back up.
Oh,
But
so wait a minute, hold on. You can drop it. You just can't get it back up.
as fast.
Oh, as fast.
As fast.
Will the 3 of us in this studio have to help you up? That's
No,
just me. Because you're going to need some help.
Now, I will say I cannot do a cartwheel and break it down no more. We can't do that.
Please
Because
don't
my equilibrium is messed up. So I can't do a
will
cartwheel
destroy
no
this
more.
whole studio trying to do a cartwheel up in
What are you
here.
trying to say, JP? What are you trying to say?
D, we are... we're more mature in our ages now. I don't even want to imagine what would happen with you trying to drop it and do
But you done seen
cartwheels.
me do all of that, though.
Yes, that was 20 years ago.
Oh. Felt like a couple of years ago.
It does feel like it was just a couple of years ago, but no. It was at a minimum 15 years ago. Because we were still working at the mental health center. Yeah, that's how long it's been since you dropped it. See, when you drop it like it's hot artist, you lose track of time and you try to still drop it. Now, there is a possibility because Janet is older than you and she still does all her dances.
Yes, she does.
So I will say there is a possibility that the D can still drop it like it's hot and then do one of them cartwheels that she did
do a private
back
show.
in the day.
I might have to do a private show.
Are you going to record it? Because we need evidence.
Listen. If I do a private show and then the person that sees the private show, and then we'll have them call into the show and be like, Stacy.
And verify.
Yes, I'll verify.
That will work.
Yes.
That'll work. Okay.
We're going to do that. Private show.
Let's get to mental health and illness.
No, hold on. Let's talk about something real quick. Maybe this might be a check-in. You know, JP is never on time. Anybody that knows
I'm
JP
always
is
on
never
time.
on time. No, you're not.
Mr. Walker.
So, these past couple of weeks,
Several weeks.
he has been on time, and the D has been like running late.
Very late.
Is the show starting on time?
Barely.
So now he's talking about that we have to have a conference about me, running late. And I just don't think that's just because you on time for a change.
This makes for a good check-in. I didn't turn over a new leaf of punctuality. I threw out the old tardy leaf. Apparently, you picked it up and shoved it in your pocket because Mr. Walker has to go to the window. He's looking outside like, where is the D? Is the D gonna make it? That's you. Tardy. Several weeks.
Okay, so my own time is a quarter till. I tried to get here at a quarter till. So now I'm coming in at 5 minutes till.
You came in at, I think, 1 minute till today. We should have been doing mic checks or something when you. Here's the interesting. What is making you late, D?
It's It's just life.
D, you got to keep it real for our listeners. D.
Now, you're not going to put that on nobody. But wait a minute, somebody who he's trying to put this on, we're going to talk in code for a minute. But somebody who's trying to put that on says that somebody's always late too.
No, he didn't.
No, you trying to say that somebody's always late.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes,
who you trying to put that on that has me running late?
He's so late.
Watch your mouth now. Watch your mouth.
We keep it real on here.
But you going to watch your mouth, though.
The unspeakable. We have not been able to have a meeting for several weeks because he's so late. We just aren't even able to meet. Now, I will say, hold on, let me say, he has a valid reason because his daughter has practice, and so that had to push back the schedule. But here, let me tell you what happened yesterday.
I know what happened yesterday.
I'm gonna tell you what happened.
So let me hear your side.
We sent out a text saying he's available to meet, and so I respond that, okay, we're working around your schedule, so what time are you available? His response was yes. That had nothing to do with what time are you available. And so I responded, I don't understand, what does yes mean? Are you what do you mean? What time can you meet? His response, yes, I can. Are we using an old link, Zoom link? My response, I can't get you to give us a time. I'm steadily asking him, what time are you available?
Maybe you didn't write your text accordingly.
I'm reading them right now.
Misunderstood what you were saying.
Hold on. I'm reading them right now. I'm still asking him, since we're working around his schedule, to give us a time. So then he responds, not rushing, sir, just confirming that I'm available. Now,
He's available.
But he was letting me know that he doesn't want me rushing him, but I wasn't rushing him. I'm trying to figure out what time. So I just said, don't rush. So then Lil John, co-host of the show, says, so no meeting today? I said no. No.
So Little John called the meeting off.
No, Lil John was like, this is ridiculous. Apparently we're not meeting. And I said, no, we're not, because he wouldn't give a time.
I don't think that you were writing your text.
Everybody understood that text. Yes. When I talk to the other co-host today, he's going to be like, I don't even know what that was about. So you and him, and because I'm the master matchmaker, and apparently I done matched up two people who has something in common, the difficulty of punctuality. Whereas,
okay, can we go to mental health and illness?
Now she's ready for mental health and illness. All right, then. See, I was trying to get us there. She brought this out. All right, let's get to mental health and illness.
And I already know what we're going to talk about.
Oh, you want to talk about Will Smith smacking the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth? Do you know, this is an old saying. Here's all the sayings. I'm going to smack the taste out your mouth, smack you into the middle next week. These are all things my mother used to say. But my sister told me a very interesting story that she knows someone who literally had the taste smacked out of their mouth. Smacked so hard that they permanently lost their sense of taste. It was an abusive situation. And so that saying is quite possibly rooted in the reality that you can slap someone so hard that you do brain damage and they lose their sense of taste.
Because that's what exactly it is brain damage.
Yep. Now, Chris can taste his food. But what are your thoughts? Because I can see this from both perspectives.
I have looked at it at both perspectives.
Okay, whose perspective are you identifying with the most? Because I'm gonna play devil's advocate and present the other perspective. So who are you identifying with the most in the situation? For those of you, I don't know who on the planet is not aware of this.
I'm gonna identify myself with Jada. Can I do that?
Jada?
Yes.
Okay. For those of you, if there's anybody on the planet who has no idea what we're talking about,
I doubt if it's anybody.
At the Oscars on Sunday,
The Oscars.
Chris Rock told a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who is suffering from alopecia. All right. And so she has lost her hair. She was losing her hair, so she cut off the rest of her hair. And he made a G.I. Jane joke, something along the line of G.I. Jane can't wait to see it, because in that movie, Demi Moore was bald. Mm-hmm. Now, you're identifying with Jada. One, I'm going to say this. The joke was in poor taste. And I am a Chris Rock fan. I'm also a Will Smith fan, not so much Jada Pinkett Smith. But the joke, it was in poor taste. I do believe that comedians need to set certain boundaries.
Then they wouldn't be funny.
But it's shocking because we're talking about Chris Rock. If Chris Rock is getting slapped, a whole lot of other comedians are way past due on a slap down.
I think Will was in his feelings.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
Because he just heard about his wife and their open relationship was catching feelings for another man.
Well,
what?
Allegedly, supposedly. She did more than catch feelings for another man, and that was prior to them having to open up the relationship. The relationship was opened up as a result of the affair and her presenting her struggles with traditional marriage, which is a show topic that we have said that we are going to get to, which is, does traditional marriage still work, and are people finding success in open marriages? But that's a whole nother show. And so you're saying that it was displaced anger. Psychologically, the clinical term that Stacy D is presenting is that Will Smith was experiencing some displaced anger. Perhaps he was feeling as if his manhood was already a little in question because of her other practices. And so Chris Rock ended up getting the anger that was due to him, plus the anger that was due to whoever this August person is that the affair was.
He's a rapper.
With. Okay, I'm not real familiar with him. And so it was displaced anger. That is quite possibly true, but another aspect to look at is that Chris Rock made her the butt of his joke in a previous Oscar performance as well.
So what?
Isn't it possible that while at home getting ready for the show, Jada, who has been very open about the hair loss, that she probably said to Will, this Chris Rock is gonna be there, and he came for me the last time. There's a possibility, because we gonna be on the first row, he may have something to say about my hair loss, which would plant a seed in Will. D, what are you doing? Right? Control your symptoms. D, can you stay focused? It is. It is.
I was doing research.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead, do research. Okay. You could have just asked the professor to do the research for you.
Professor was You've been a messed up one of the cameras, and then you've been cut this into the cemetery. This show to the cemetery.
The professor had comments all over your face last week.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so I think that could plant a seed. I'm basically agreeing with what you said, but I think it was also that may have planted a seed. Like, okay, if he comes for my wife tonight over this, I don't know what I might do. Because his previous joke was actually worse than what he said about the alopecia, because in the previous joke he minimized her importance as an actress altogether with the joke that he told, but this one was in poor taste. Anyway, here's something interesting about this. Chris Rock's concert tickets prior to getting slapped, the cheapest ticket was $50.
Now
$540
is
the cheapest ticket This is after getting slapped. The tickets are ranging from $540 to $1,600 per ticket to a show that he did last night. And after getting slapped, the show sold out. They sold more tickets after he got slapped than they had sold in a month. Now, here's the problem. He didn't really get into it during the show last night. So anybody who paid anywhere from $540 to $1,600 thinking that they was going to hear about a slap down were disappointed and probably should have spent that money somewhere else. But it made me wonder, I might need for somebody to come up in this station, some angry chick to slap the taste out of Stacy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
We need to cash in.
Don't do it.
Remember the live show you were playing?
Yeah, and we are going to do a live show.
Prior to the live show, I'm thinking somebody might need to come here. D, that would be... Do you know how you would have reacted back in the day if somebody would have slapped you like that? Imagine. This is why we would never be able to pull off a publicity stunt like that, because
hell, I'm not gonna
the D would be all up under a jail. She is not one to take a slapping very lightly.
And then I just really want to comment on it. Will, he didn't put all his anger into it, because I've seen people. No, he didn't.
Did you see that slap?
I've seen it several times.
There was rage behind that slap.
That wasn't a manly slap to me.
Are you? D, you need to watch the footage again.
I have.
He slapped
over for 2 days.
Chris Rock is barely tasting his lunch right now.
I don't think so.
So you think he held back?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Chris Rock is like, I love tall men, at least about 6 inches shorter than him.
Yeah.
And about 50 pounds lighter.
Chris had time to brace himself. He knew something was about to happen to him.
He didn't really know what was going to happen. He probably thought he was going to come up there and do some or whisper something in his ear. Because if you look at it, Will didn't come up there like, Bob, he didn't come up there like that. Did everybody see me?
The
Bring
look,
because
you was off camera. The
back.
look, imagine the look on his face as he was approaching him. They didn't show it, but the look on his face had to send a message. Oh Lord, I'm about to get punched, or something bad is about to happen. But what could he do? He can't run off stage, because that would be even more humiliating.
I think he handled it really, really well, though.
Let's talk about impulsivity for a minute, because impulsive people know how to react to situations like that immediately. Like, if you slap an impulsive person, before they know it, they done slapped you back.
Yeah.
It's like slap. Oh, shoot.
No, slap
me right back.
Stomp.
Yeah. That's what's gonna happen if somebody come up in here and slap the D as a publicity stunt.
It's not gonna be nice.
All these tables will be turned
guess
over.
What? Then they got to deal with Stacy D's offspring, because they're ignorant about their mama.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that for Will Smith I don't think it was so much impulsivity, because he had time to laugh at the joke, get up out of his seat, get onto the stage, approach Chris. He had enough time to think, this might not be the time and place for me to do this. I mean, I am an African American actor. We got 2 black men about to have an altercation in front of millions of people.
Really hurt me, because it took so long for us to
even get Oscars.
Exactly. And then we go up there and act like that. That behavior was totally unacceptable. Exactly. And then, not to mention, what was that, 3 years ago when they didn't come and they boycotted?
Yeah, but that's when Chris Rock told a joke about that.
So then 3 years later, you come and do those type of actions? I'm very disappointed in Will Smith. I really am. He was really one of my favorite actors. But now, it takes a little bit. Just like I don't like Snoop Dogg no more.
What?
from Baby Boy when he kicked the little boy's bridge down. Baby Boy
In the movie?
yeah.
Yeah, I can't dislike him because
Well,
he
I
didn't
do.
write that movie.
Well, he should have said, "Nah, I don't want to do that. If it's messing with little kids, I don't want to do it." He kicked the little boy.
It was a bad image.
Yes, and it affected me. I don't know other people, but yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Well,
Not at
this
all.
wasn't a movie.
This was real life.
He literally slapped the fire out of Chris Rock. It was unfortunate,
I don't
but
think
like
he
I
slapped the
said,
fire. Maybe a
I
spark.
can see. Well, because in your opinion, it wasn't a real slap. You haven't watched it closely enough.
Yes,
that
I
was a
did.
for real. He reared back and slapped him.
And that shows that he doesn't have much power.
This was an unfortunate event.
After you done thought about it,
I
that means you got your adrenaline going. Boy, that should have been about, ooh. And
Well-
you should have went down.
I see it from both perspectives. I do think the comedians should have some boundaries.
No,
And-
it's entertaining. No. I do not
But
agree
she
with
really
JP.
did struggle with.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
what
excusing
about the
the
fat people
slap.
jokes? What about the fat people jokes? So they can't say jokes about fat people?
Well, okay.
If they can talk about Bill Cosby, R.
Of course, they can talk about Bill Cosby and R. Kelly. Two freaky
Bill
perverts.
Clinton.
You just mentioned two rapists. We
Okay,
cannot
what about Bill
compare
Clinton?
Chris Rock
What about
to
Bill
rapists.
Clinton? What about Bill Clinton?
Bill Clinton, we cannot compare. No, we ain't gonna talk bad about Bill Clinton now. That's
But they
one
do
thing.
jokes
now,
about
we
Bill
ain't
Clinton.
gonna talk bad about
They
Bill
do jokes about Bill Clinton.
They shouldn't.
But they do.
But they shouldn't.
But they do.
Okay.
It's entertainment. I want entertainment. Let me think about and laugh about the things. No, we're not going to put a muzzle on the comedians. Say your jokes. I love them.
R. Kelly and Bill Cosby deserve every joke and minute in prison that they have served.
I'm not going to say that because
I'm mad that Bill's out.
Because JP quit talking to me for a whole week.
Right, because you supported rapists. Okay. They deserve the jokes. We're talking about Chris. We're talking about, like, when you think about there are some comedians that I cannot even stand to listen to because they are so rough. I don't think that Chris Rock is typically rough like that. But if someone has been public about their emotional struggles with alopecia and you joke about that, I have a friend who has alopecia, and
I do too.
right, and you know how much she struggled with that. She's talked about that. I think it would be awful for someone to make light of something that a person has truly struggled with. I don't think you should get slapped for it. I don't think that's appropriate, but I do. When I think about comedians, there are other comedians.
Okay, we're going to need to push on because it's 2:33 and we have a whole lot of other stuff to do. I have to help JP sometime.
Okay, you the one who took us back on this. Okay, let's get on with some other news. The teenager who fell from the amusement park ride in Florida and was killed, he had been turned away from 2 other rides prior to that. Okay, he had told his cousin, quote, "They said I'm too big, I can't ride." He had heard that twice. This is the ride that, I don't know what it's called at Worlds of Fun, but it's the one you get in and your feet are dangling and it just shoots up into the air. And Dolly Parton, who owns Dollywood, shut it down immediately and it didn't happen in her park, but she's like, "Ooh, there's something wrong with the ride," which brings in the question, is there something wrong with the ride? Because this child was 14, 6'5" and 340 pounds.
Oh my God.
The weight limit for the ride was 287 pounds. His safety harness was still in a down and locked position when the ride came to a stop. And so supposedly, allegedly, the family is taking some legal actions. I don't think the manufacturer of the ride is liable in this situation, because if the ride has a 287-pound limit and you let a 340-pound 14-year-old get on there, that's not a problem with the manufacturer of the ride. That's a problem with the park. So who's liable is the amusement park. That's who should be sued, is whoever let this child onto the ride. Now, there's something else to think about. When you go to amusement parks, a lot of times the people handling that are teenagers. There are teenagers deciding if a person, letting people in and making these decisions. And so I feel bad for the child who lost his life. I feel bad for the family who has lost a son, a brother, a cousin. I also feel bad for the child or the teenager or the staff, whatever age they were, who made the mistake of allowing this kid onto the ride. At the same time, when you have a kid going from ride to ride, trying to get on, I don't know. I see a little bit of a problem with that. I think maybe the adults could have dissuaded him from trying to get on these rides.
Probably wasn't even no adults there. They probably just dropped him off and left.
Well,
that's what I used to do to my 14-year-olds.
Well,
it was fun.
Well, he was having communication. The cousin looked like an older cousin. She looked like an adult. But at the same time, because I'm not blaming the child, I can understand a 14-year-old saying, I want to ride the rides. The real issue here,
I want to ride the ride.
I want to ride the rides. All the other kids are getting to ride the rides. And so what needs to happen as a result of this is the amusement parks need to be more careful about not making mistakes in this area. But we also need to take a look at this goes back to the whole childhood obesity thing and how.
But goodness, he's 6. How old is he? 6'5", 6'3"?
He's 6'5", but you can be 6'5" and still not be 340 pounds.
That's true. He looks big.
That's
big.
Really large. Yeah, that's large for that ride. Mm-hmm. Because you're dangling, and I'm surprised that they were even able to get the harness on him on that ride. It's the kind of ride that when you're in it, I can see how you can be thrown from it. Have you been on that ride?
No, I don't ride rides like that.
It's not even that scary. It's not that scary of a ride. It can barely be called a roller coaster.
Oh,
okay.
I don't do that.
One last piece of mental health and illness in the news.
Okay.
This is a little on the political front. President Biden's new budget proposal includes a billionaire's tax. This makes me so happy. They would have to pay a minimum of 20% for households that's making over $100 million a year. Please note.
Not in that one.
Please note, though, that is still less than what ordinary Americans pay. If you are a teacher and you make $40,000 a year, you are paying, which is terrible, and you're paying 22% in taxes. And so for the billionaires to pay 20%, they need to shut up complaining, okay?
Exactly.
Because teachers and other people are still paying a larger percentage than you.
But they're going to find other ways to not get it, though.
Well, this tax is
things.
They'll find other loopholes. Mm-hmm. This tax will apply to America's richest 700 people, most of which are billionaires. It's going to raise $360 billion over the next 10 years that will go towards such things as the opioid epidemic, veterans health care, cancer research, and last but not least, mental health professionals. Tax them. Take their money. Take their money. Give it to us.
We're going to get some money. More money for us. More money for us. Yes.
All right, let's get to the question of the day.
Question of the day.
The question of the day.
I've been trying to figure it out all week.
About the cheaters?
About the cheaters.
Okay. Well, we've been talking about this. This is, something to be talked about. Is cheating about sex or is there more to it? What are the 6 types of cheaters? Okay, now this is according to JP and years of seeing people for infidelity and therapy. These are my categories, okay? So
These are only JP's categories.
Well, anyone who disputes these categories, though, I would love to hear your feedback.
And I agree with his categories.
I tend to be very thorough. All right.
That he is.
Now, number 1 reason for cheating: fulfilling unmet relationship needs. This can be anything from a lack of sex, okay?
But doesn't have to be sex.
Some people say that they're cheating because they are not getting enough sex. It can be due to unmet emotional needs. Okay.
An emotional need? Stop. Let's give an example of an emotional need.
Well, that's very easy. Okay.
So?
Sometimes we talked about emotional cheating last week. The reason why people oftentimes engage in emotional cheating is because the other person is fulfilling the emotional needs that their partner or spouse is not fulfilling, making them feel special, making them feel wanted, making them feel important, making them feel like they matter.
Yes, just having simple conversations.
And sometimes over a course of time, relationships can get not stale, but they can get into a groove where some of those things begin to get routinish and things get overlooked, and sometimes partners fail to provide those emotional needs, and a person ends up getting those needs fulfilled outside of the relationship. But when it comes to the lack of sex, what I am seeing more and more of is not so much a lack of sex, but a desire for a different type of sex. I'm beginning to see more and more couples who are coming in because, for example, the wife is wanting to have sex with other women, and the penis is in the way, and she's like, I'm tired of penis. And so that happens. I have even seen a couple where 2 men in a relationship, and the man was cheating on his boyfriend with women because he missed vagina. He's like, I still miss vagina. I still want some of that every once in a while. So he's cheating on his man.
Did you ask him, did it feel the same?
He still love vagina.
He still love vagina? Okay.
Yeah, he still love vagina. And so all of that is a part of the unmet needs.
An unmet need.
And the reason why it's important, if you are in a relationship where cheating has taken place, the reason why it's important to figure out what type of cheating it was is because this is the first step to healing the relationship. The first step is asking, how did this come to happen? And that's where you get into what type of cheating, what were the surrounding circumstances, the underlying factors, and that's what we're covering today. This is the first step to trying to heal the relationship.
And
if
you
it
most
is at
definitely
all
have to be honest about it, because if you do not if you do not be honest, you won't be able to get to the nitty gritty of it.
Exactly.
Don't sugarcoat it. You're getting help. Just, it's in a safe place.
Right.
Well, when you get home, you might not be that safe, but in the office, you're safe.
You safe in the office.
You're safe in the office.
Another aspect of cheating to fulfill unmet relationship needs under the category of lack of sex. A lot of times this is happening due to situations where medical reasons are preventing a person from being able to sexually perform.
Yes.
And as a result of, and there's a lot of medical reasons that can cause this with men. It can be low testosterone.
And it's
it can
coming
be
to women too.
with women. Yes. And so sometimes couples struggle with that because one partner is struggling due to medical reasons and the other partner is still a very sexual being, and they end up going outside the marriage. All of that is under this first category of fulfilling unmet needs emotionally or sexually. Okay. Number 2, revenge sex. I have seen many couples who end up cheating on their partner for revenge because the partner has cheated on them multiple times over the years. That's the biggest revenge reason. Sometimes it's revenge for domestic violence and different things like that. I have seen this to be more common in my female clients who have cheated. They basically present, I got sick of him cheating all the time. I needed for him to feel how I feel. The problem is, as we talked about last week, men don't handle being cheated on very well.
No, not
And so
at all.
oftentimes the reaction that they get from their men is, it don't matter that I cheated. I can't believe you cheated on me.
Exactly.
And then he proceeds to treat her like she's a
dog.
whore for cheating on him once, even though he's been cheating on her for the past
Multiple
10
times.
or 12 years.
Exactly.
And the other way that this can backfire is sometimes what the men do is use it as ammunition against the woman and say, well, you did it. So now when I do it, I feel a lot less guilt because you've done it too. You're no longer above me. You are the same as me. All these years you've been acting like you was better than me, and I'm the cheater, I'm low down, I'm dirty, I'm a dog, and you better. Well, you cheat too. And so then the woman is sitting there on the couch like, what? I was trying to teach you a lesson, fool. And he's like, you taught me that you cheat too. So it can backfire.
Yeah, it's not a good situation on that part of it. I don't really believe in revenge at all.
No. Third category, sexual addictions. This is more common than what people realize.
It's getting to be more and more.
And this one is more common in men. Okay? Sex can be very addictive. So just
Messing
like
with them endorphins.
there you go, and that's addictive. Just like a person can be addicted to alcohol or drugs or gambling, a person can become addicted to sex, and it's a problem if they're in a relationship with someone who does not share that sex drive.
Exactly.
So their partner is like, I'm wore out. Now you think you just gonna be riding me 3 times a day? You got nothing coming. And
2 snacks.
right. And with the people who have sexual addictions, they can easily have sex 3 to 5 times a day. Easily. And so that can become a situation where they go outside of the relationship to get those sexual needs met, as opposed to doing what they should do, which is treating the addiction. We don't give in to addictions, people. You work through the addiction. You work to overcome the addiction.
How do you overcome a shopping addiction?
You a shopper? You are a shopper. You look guilty.
Now I done on this online thing since the pandemic.
Boxes showing up at your house every day. I can barely talk. I got boxes showing up on a frequent basis too. It's the same as any addiction. It's the same as my baby. It's the same as any addiction. We could do a whole show on overcoming addictions because it'll take me too long to cover.
Yeah, we're going to do that. What I will say, because I never got into addiction because I never could understand it, because I stay away from. In my mind, I stay away from. You don't really have an
addictive personality.
I don't have an addictive personality, exactly. Right. But I come from an addictive bloodline. So I always I was very much cognitive of, I'm not going to do that. 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 But it was other things because I had an addiction to food. You're describing what's called genetic predisposition. Exactly.
Because if you have addiction in your family line, you are genetically predisposed and will be more likely, that's basically all it means, you are more likely to develop addictions,
exactly.
And so, and a person can have, we need to do a whole show.
We got to do a whole show about that. Write that down. Write that down.
I'm going to write that down. We're going to cover addictions. Okay? Because the therapy that is required for overcoming addictions is cognitive behavioral therapy. So we're going to cover that in another show. All right. Reason number 4. Fourth type of cheater.
Number 4.
Self-medicating with sex. Sometimes if a person is experiencing
Depression.
a mood disorder such as depression, as Stacy D just mentioned, they will use sex to self-medicate. Now, these are oftentimes people who are like, why should I bother with Prozac and Zoloft when I can elevate my mood by having sex? Well, it's a problem if your partner does not share the sex drive that you have, and then you go outside of your relationship to self-medicate mood states with sex. That's a problem.
It's a problem.
So that's the other type. All right.
Number 5.
Hypersexuality.
Wow.
This is a little known cause of cheating. There is a mood disorder, bipolar disorder. I'm sure everyone has heard of bipolar disorder. One of the...
We covered that one time too for a whole show.
We did cover that. Okay, so you all can go back and view that show. We covered it. One of the lesser known symptoms, because it's less common than the other symptoms in bipolar disorder, is hypersexuality. Sometimes a person who struggles with bipolar disorder, which is manic, it used to be called manic depressive disorder. They had manic episodes and they had depressive episodes. Well, during manic episodes, some segments of the population, some people experience hypersexuality. When they become manic, their sex drive shoots through the roof. This is
10,000.
This is how this can be a problem. I once was providing sex offender treatment to an adolescent who struggled with hypersexuality, and whenever he experienced a manic episode, he would commit a sex offense. And so what we had to do was track his episodes so that we could head it off at the pass when he showed the earliest signs of mania. But the hypersexuality, the drive to have sex, would be so high. He literally molested a little girl in school. And the teacher made a mistake by kicking him out of his class and putting him, this is in an alternative school, putting him in a classroom with elementary school age kids, and they had these cubicles. These cubicles, he had a little girl in his cubicle and molested her in there.
In the classroom.
Teaching him how to track his episodes did result in him doing a good job of being able to say, I'm starting to have a hard time. I'm starting to struggle. Like I don't know if I'm going to be able to control myself. Like he knew that, because we had tracked his episodes. He knew he was becoming manic. He knew that he had to go into this school with all these, young ladies from his age all the way down to elementary school. Because in the alternative schools, it's all ages of kids. But he would just
first grade to 12th.
He would be unable to control it. So those who have bipolar disorder, this is a medical diagnosis. If you experience the symptom of hypersexuality, you are supposed to be discussing that with your psychiatrist so that it can be treated. Oftentimes people do not discuss it because they enjoy the sex. So they like, wait a minute, you want me to tell the doctor to take this good feeling away?
No.
Yes, because you are having sex with everybody in town behind your spouse's back. Because she can't keep up with the hypersexuality. And spouses complain about this, that during these episodes, they are like, I cannot keep up. I'm not able to have sex 3, 4, 5 times a day for the whole week or 2 weeks that this fool is manic. It's a lot. And so cheating ends up taking place. They end up going outside the relationship. Okay. Here is the last reason. Okay, this is number 6. A need for variety and change.
Now,
some people say that this is normal and even genetic. That is, There are people who argue that it is genetic for men to require variety. But here's the gist of it. People in this situation say, how can I be expected? I've gotten married. How can I be expected to have sex with the same human for the next
30, 40, 50, 60 years?
I've been sampling
Women do it.
all the other flavors of ice cream until I got married. And
JP like ice cream, everybody.
talk about addictions. That's my addiction. So this always makes a good metaphor. I done sampled how many flavors Baskin Robbins have? 31.
50. I don't know. I can't remember.
I think it's 31. I done sampled.
It was 31 flavors.
I done sampled 30 flavors, and now I'm supposed to give up all 30 and stick with this one. Which is why people are beginning to open up their marriages and say, hey, I don't think divorce is something we should do. I need you to give me permission to go back to sampling other flavors. The problem is you don't spring this on a person after you've married them. This is a conversation that is supposed to be had during the courtship, because you are only supposed to be dating people who also have this problem. If you are dating someone who agrees, like, I ain't trying to have sex with just you for the next 30 years. I'm trying to have sex with just you. Okay. And so
who's that other person's voice that you use? We need to give him a name.
Many people's voice, let me tell you. And so that's a good fit. Now, we're going to do a show on open relationships.
Wow.
And I'm gonna just give a little heads up. I've not seen them to be successful. I've not seen it be successful.
I don't see
but
can't.
I think that if you are that person who needs to have sex with other people, be honest and open about it during the courtship, and stop dating people who do not believe in that. I oftentimes see couples who wait until after they've gotten married to say, I can't do this. I need more.
I need more.
And then the other person's like,
what?
Yeah,
more?
You should have told
I'm not
me
enough.
Right.
I'm not enough.
And that's how they feel. I'm not enough. Now, something that couples can do is you can spice up and add some variety.
Put a blonde wig on.
Stacy D is actually right. There are things.
Come on over to Stacy D's stripping classes.
And learn some stripper moves.
Learn some moves.
The D has mentioned two things. There are many things that couples can do to spice up their sex life. You can do some role playing, break out the wigs. You can learn some
I thought he was about to say whips.
And the whips.
And the whips.
D, you seem to be throwing out a lot of ideas here. You know a lot about this, D. Do you want to, anything else you want to add? Is there anything else you would like to add to help couples? This is very useful advice. You don't have to literally go out and find different people to have sex with. What you need to do.
I can be Sasha. I can be Beyonce.
Yes.
I can be Yo-Ye.
Hey.
I like that one, Yo-Ye.
There you go.
Yo-Way. No, that's it. Yo-Way.
Oh, your way.
Your way.
There you go. You have to be open and honest in your communications, though. You have to be willing to say to your partner, hey, I kind of wish that we could spice some things up. I wish that we could try some different sexual things, some things that we haven't tried before. And here's the thing.
Outside in the rain.
There is nothing wrong.
It been a little cold in the snow.
The D gonna have somebody with frostbite in places that you don't want it. But
elevators.
I oftentimes encourage couples. We gotta
go
wrap
to
this
the
up.
family. He's not even here. Go to the family bathroom in restaurants and airports.
The producer is not in the studio, so
he's missing.
Like, we gonna keep rolling.
We'll keep rolling. Party D.
What I suggest to couples is that they be open-minded and try out lots of sexual things. They can get as wild and crazy and freaky as they want. Throw a bunch of things into a hat.
And the Bible said the bed bag.
You reach into that hat and pull out something. Try. Oh, okay. We're gonna have to wrap it up. He's back. All right. So we can talk more about that. We can talk more about that in some future episodes.
We didn't even get to my dating segment.
We did not. We barely finished this.
Okay, guys, guess what? In 2 weeks, we're going to go on, Stacy D is going to go on a date with the spy here. He's going to be on Spy Watch with me. And we can't wait to tell you how this is going to go. Because how many men do I have right now?
I sent you a list of men. I
only like 2 of those.
I went through 20 men and sent you the top. What I sent 3. One, I was
3.
just saying, look at this food, like from the other side of the planet, and everything's in a foreign language, and he's hitting you up. I sent 3 out of 20 is really good odds, though. If it was 3, don't exclude the 4th one. 3 out of 20, that's like 33%, isn't it? 3? No. I don't know what the percentage is.
I'm a social worker, not a mathematician.
There you go. 3 out of 20 was good odds, though. I only had time to look at 20, but we will get to that. That is our show for today. Thank you for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing
and pray about everything.
Thank you, and God bless.
Bye-bye now.